What's up, you guys? Hope you're doing well. My name is Rob Allen. I'm a direct response copywriter who's generated over $100 million in sales. And in this video today, I want to take you guys behind the scenes of a recent email series that I launched that absolutely crushed it for me. The funnel generated over $35,000 in sales, brought me a ton of new leads, and helped me actually create a brand new lead magnet inside of one day. So I want to take you guys behind the scenes and show you the entire campaign from end to end so that you can steal the entire technique and generate insane results in the process. So hopefully you guys are pretty excited about that. If so, let's actually dive into the actual process. So this whole thing started for me back on April 18th when I decided to host a private Ask Me Anything session with people in my 1% club. These are the people, these are my customers who are the most engaged on my email list by a mile. They open, click, and buy things at a rate that is exponentially higher than everyone else. So I love treating these people like gold. And what I did was I actually just wrote a very simple email, which you can see on the right-hand side of this page, where I told them, hey, what's up, 1%ers? My girlfriend and I just got back from a quick trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and feeling inspired to host my first ever Ask Me Anything session. And you can see the copy of how I actually announced it, where I basically just said, so if you've ever wanted to ask me anything, and I gave them tons of categories of things to talk about, it's all fair game. And I told them very clearly up front, I said, I'm not gonna hold anything back in my replies, so brace your inbox. And then I came back to hundreds and hundreds of replies from my top fans. And I had booked off the entire day to actually go through these and actually answer these. So it took a lot of coffee, and I ended up actually writing north of 35,000 words in my replies. Now, like I said, some were short and sweet, but some were 2+ pages. And so when I finished, I had a realization. I looked back over everything I wrote and how in-depth I went with some of the replies, and I was like, holy crap. What if I just turned this into a book and shared it out with everyone else? And then that became the basis of the entire funnel and the entire strategy. I started with this idea to just kind of serve the best people on my list with a cool Ask Me Anything session. And I turned that process into actually going into launching an ebook and actually making it available to everyone else. So let's talk about some of those ebook building secrets that I learned, because it would have been one thing for me just to slap together all the questions, just copy and paste it into a document, and then just said, hey, here's a book. But I wanted to actually give way more perceived value and way more legs to this thing rather than just like a document of questions and answers. I wanted to actually make it look like an actual book. And that would be my biggest secret number one, is you need to treat this thing like an actual book. Like, I designed a cover and I wrote a little about me, about the author. And by doing that, it just has a whole different look and feel than, just an ebook you might download and never actually remember to actually get through. I know we're all guilty of this. I wanted people to not just download the book, but I wanted them to consume it as well, which also leads me into point number 2, is you need to have a table of contents for this kind of thing, because for my book, it was 129+ pages with questions from all different types of copywriting and all different types of freelancing. And to be honest, there was no central thread just kind of pulling you through the whole thing. I tried to categorize them as best I could, but at the end of the day, it's not like a book that starts with, chapter 1 and then goes to chapter 31 by the end. And you're like, wow, I feel like I went on a journey. It was all over the place. The first question was about pop-ups. Then it was about client getting. I was just all over the place. And that is not something you want your readers to experience from the beginning. So what I did was I went into the Google document and I actually added a table of contents. Now, this made it massively more helpful for people to actually be able to jump around and actually get quick answers to the questions that they were most curious about. And then as they kind of experience value from being able to click around and say, oh, this is one that's directly applicable to me. Wow, that answer was really helpful. Then they go back into the rest of them and consume the rest of the book. And you can also see kind of what I did with some of the formatting there, where, some people put really long questions back to me in the Ask Me Anything session, which is totally fine. But I tried to actually do a quick summary of these things. So this was one where it's like, it was a little bit longer form when they were asking about pop-up performance. So I just tried to summarize it to what the core of the question was. So it was really skimmable in the table of contents, and this made it rapid to consume. And that's one thing a lot of the people who've downloaded the book have told me, is like, wow, I'm able to actually consume this all in one sitting, which is partially by how it's written, but it's also partially by how it's designed. So I would definitely recommend this for the layout reasons, because it's going to lead to people being able to get the quick answers to the things that they're most curious about. If they experience value, they'll consume more of the book itself. Then finally, you want to have some embedded offers inside of your ebook along the way. If it ever made sense for me to actually make an offer that was really tied closely to the question that someone was asking, I made these little space ads throughout the book that were right there, right after the question. And this was a secret revenue booster of the whole thing. So for example, you can see that this question was like, how do I get my first project if I'm just a beginner at email marketing? So then I answered the question with a really in-depth answer with links to resources and things of that nature. And then I was like, wait, if you like a short, quick, and super affordable affordable crash course on signing high value clients as a newbie, grab the $7 mini course on sale right now. So I would link out to resources, paid resources that I have really closely tied to those exact questions that people are having. So, imagine a new user comes into the book, they click a link in the table of contents that relates to them, and then they see the question that's answered really closely there, and then there's an ad for a product really close to the actual question that they had in mind. And then that's how you get this flywheel effect where, people are consuming the book, people are downloading it, they're sharing it out, and then they are buying resources inside my store as a result. So this is a really cool tip that I would definitely recommend that you do throughout the book. And because you're leading with so much value in the question that you have, people don't view this as spammy or salesy. They're just loving the fact that there is a place that they can go for more info if they'd like to do that. So the finished product, once I actually get done building the entire thing, was a 129-page monster that was full of questions and answers, little ads for my products, links out to every resource I had, and I experienced a massive lift in revenue, engagement on my site, engagement in different resources I had, which was really, really cool. Now let's talk about, we've got the book done, we've got this asset, we've actually built it up from scratch, and it's really cool, and we're like, dang, this book is really cool. How do we launch it to actually have a massive amount of success? Well, I'm going to show you the exact strategy that I use to get thousands of leads and make even more sales for free. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing because it's basically one of the easiest 3-part launch series that you've ever seen. And the whole thing for me actually started out with this viral tweet where I just posted very casually on Twitter. I said, I just published a new ebook full of 129 pages of unfiltered answers to every freelance copywriting question you've ever had. Got proven tips, links to resources, and more. If you'd like me to shoot you a copy for free, just comment below with the word gimme and I'll DM the link to you. And notice the engagement on this tweet, over 836 comments, 47 retweets, and 332 likes. And I DM'd it to every single person who actually commented on this. So this gave me an initial wave of over 800 people going and actually downloading this brand new book that I had published because I just kind of hacked the algorithm on Twitter by actually launching it there first. The amount of social proof that starts to stack up when you launch this book using this really cool strategy is going to add a ton of new leads to the top of your experience in your top of your funnel in the launch. Now let's talk about how to get some more juice out of this. And that was when I launched this to my entire email list. For the most part, they didn't even know this whole thing existed. I just hosted it with the 1% club. So the vast majority of my list, over 99% of them, had no idea this even existed. So I sent an email out actually launching it to them as well. And then that resulted in over 1,000 additional people going in to actually download the book, which had a massive spreading effect because I actually encourage people to actually share the book at the end with at least one friend to unlock something else. And then that actually added even more people to the system. And so now I want to talk about some of the strategies that I've used post actually launching it to continue driving new referrals into my system and to continue getting sales and results from this book months after it is done. And so one of the things I did actually after I posted that tweet is I actually went back in immediately and was like, don't worry about DMing me anymore. Just here's where you can get the link. And I actually pinned it to my Twitter profile so that there's just a direct link there where anyone who is actually coming to my Twitter profile, they're going to see that link, which means tens of thousands of people per month are able to see this as a cool offer right in front of them. I pulled the stats over the last 25 days and over 54,000 people have visited my profile, which means that since this is the pinned tweet, we continue to see people engaging with this over time and people going into this really helpful book as the first experience with me as a subscriber. And then another really cool thing is that I put it at the end of my welcome flow where I actually send this book out as a really cool resource. And I say, hey, if you actually share this out with a friend, I'll actually send you another bonus at the end, which is a really cool way that I've actually seen even more people just saying, hey, this is one of the most helpful books that I've gotten. Let me send this out to a friend. And here's a screenshot with proof of that. And that's just continued to add more subscribers into my email list over time. So combine all these strategies come together for a massive list growth opportunity. I was able to add over 2,300 email subscribers and counting using just this one little funnel. And truly one of my favorite parts is the fact that I was able to rapidly create a new lead magnet on the exact topics that my audience cares about. I know because these are the questions that they had for me. The most engaged people sent me these as their top questions and then I answered them. So I know that it's a valuable resource for anyone who experiences it. And I've kind of tinkered with a ton of little ebook ideas before, but this one gave me one that was immediately useful to prospects and I was able to create it in less than a day. And then finally, obviously having that injection of sales did not hurt. Over $35,000 in sales and counting, all while making my super fans feel super happy. You can see some of the feedback they gave me during the AMA session. They said, wow, this is one of the most helpful things that I've ever seen anyone do. And then being able to share that out with the community at the end as a book was a really cool After Effects. So please, I really do hope and encourage you guys to actually steal this entire funnel. It works like crazy, and I can see this working in any type of e-commerce business, any type of coaching business, and it would just take off like a rocket ship. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, be sure to actually like it and subscribe to the channel. I share tons of little copywriting tips just like this, and you know, some of them are just next level that people would lock behind a paywall, but I love to give this out for free because this is my passion. This is what I wake up and would do if no one paid me to do anything. So all that to say, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.